Good morning, my friends, wherever you are. I will endeavour to get through this video without using foul language that the Karens seem to be so upset over. But the way I look at it is, if expletives, as you call them or whatever, are good enough for Hollywood movies that you're paying going to see, I'm not worried about using bad language. I sometimes use it when I get frustrated, which is, okay, you might say it's a failing. I don't have to use bad language, but I do use it. And I'm not making any apologies for it, because that's just the way I am. I don't sugarcoat anything, as anyone that knows me know. I just tell it as it is. I came home on Irish Ferries from Cherbourg on the 23rd of January this year. Now, I unfortunately was left when I got to the Cherbourg port with the Isle of Inisheer was the only boat that was going to Dublin. Okay, so sorry, I have to keep touching this camera so I can see the screen working. So anyway, I went into the booking on office, and I find that the Irish Ferry staff in Cherbourg have a terrible attitude, absolutely shocking attitude, and I'm not exaggerating this towards drivers. It's a case of, give me your passport, there you go, you're sharing a cabin, go away, don't want to talk to you. And then if you object, or if you say, sorry, I don't want to share a cabin, all of a sudden they're running in then to get the manager of the office out, as happened to me. So the manager came out and like, how dare you? You're sharing a cabin and that's it. And if you don't share a cabin, you're not getting on the ship. Okay, can you just imagine that? Now, it got to the stage, and this is how bad it really got, and I'm being honest with you, I am very, very careful about using any foul language when I'm dealing with customer service, because I've said before, once you've used F this or F that, you've lost. So I don't. I am stern, I'm polite, but I'm stern, and at times when I'm met with ignorance, I will raise my voice, but I'll never shout. I will raise my voice, but that's only to let them know that I'm not going to be walked over. So anyway, what happened basically was, I said I'm not sharing a cabin, and I shouldn't have to share a cabin in this day and age, especially during the flu season, or it's just not on. Having two drivers that don't know each other stuck in a confined space. Now, this is not a crossing from Dublin to Holyhead. It's not a crossing from Rosslare to Fishguard or to Pembroke. This is an 18-hour crossing that sometimes with weather can run into 22 hours. And there's very little to be done on that ship apart from to rest in your cabin and watch television. And you can imagine in that space with someone that you don't even know, right? You don't know what their hygiene habits are like. You don't know whether they're going to be snoring. And I include myself in that. And it's just intolerable for me, and I stopped doing it. I actually gave up doing the European work for DG McCardle because of it. I wouldn't do it anymore. I used to do trips going out, but I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Because it's basically, and as other drivers have said, it's on your mind the whole day that you're going for the ferry. Am I going to be stuck in a cabin with someone? Am I going to get a cabin on my own? In this day and age, that's not acceptable. I'm sorry, under any circumstance. And I've often said, and I said to the ferry companies, do you make single male car passengers share with other single male car passengers? No. Well, then why do you make freight drivers share? Freight drivers are paying an awful lot more. Now, this is not unique to Irish Ferries, by the way, and I'm not picking on Irish Ferries. This is across the board. I would start with the worst and work to the best. I would say Grimaldi Lines, the ferry company that goes from Italy to Greece, are by far the worst. They want 4 drivers in a little confined cabin. Won't do it, never did it. Even during COVID, they were sticking 4 drivers into a cabin. And I did a video on it. If you go back through my videos on Ned Kelly Ireland on YouTube, you'll see the video there. Brittany Ferries then are the next. They are absolutely woeful when it comes to trying enforcing drivers. And no matter when you get on a ship, whether it be in the middle of winter or the peak season of summer, they'll always tell you, no, we're full tonight, you have to share it. We're full, no, we're full, we're full. But you see, what I do is to counteract that, and I've learned a lesson from my experience on the 23rd of January 25. I will never ever again open my mouth when I go in to book on a ferry. Okay? I'll have told my boss, I am not getting on that ship. If that ship or any ship that I know where you're going to have to share cabins, I will tell my boss, bring me in Rosslare or bring me in Dublin. I am not sharing a cabin. Now, I don't want to be bringing grief to his door, but the problem with it is that these ferry companies, right, they have a terrible, and I'm not talking just about Irish ferries, they're all the same. Okay, Irish ferries in particular don't have any Irish staff on them. There is not one single Irish person working either downstairs on the decks or working as cabin cleaners. Maybe there's one or two doing the beds. There is no purser on Irish ferries that's Irish that I know of. Now, I could be corrected. Maybe there's one or two on the Dublin Holyhead route. I don't know. But the vast majority of people who are working on Irish ferries, and especially in the reception desk, are Eastern European. And they have a disgusting attitude towards freight drivers. It's almost like we're a nuisance to them. What they don't realise is that it's freight drivers that are keeping them in a job. All winter long, when there's nothing else, the freight is always going. And yet they have almost disdain. And you can see it in their eyes. When they see you coming, they're like, and they just slap down the key there in front of you. Anyway, we're gone. Grimaldi lines are the worst. Brittany ferries are the next. Okay? Now, it's a mixture now between Stena Line and Irish Ferries. DFDS, a fucking disaster as well. There's my cursing back again, right? DFDS boat, and I haven't been on it. And I will not be on it again. I believe the lad's saying that the boat that's going now from Rosslare to Dunkirk is a disaster, that you're sharing all the time. And that's a 24-hour crossing. Can you just imagine it? In a confined space with someone you don't know, or even if you do know them. You have no privacy, you can't sleep because they're either getting up in the middle of the night and banging doors, or they're snoring, or they're farting, and I'm not trying to exaggerate. Who in their right mind would want to share an 18-hour crossing with a stranger? And you're getting off the boat then and you have to do a full day's work and you've had maybe 2 or 3 hours sleep if you're lucky. It's just not acceptable, and I won't accept it. And people say to me, oh, we've been doing it all our lives, you whinger. If you want to share a cabin, share a cabin. I don't want to share a cabin, and I should not be forced to, and I will not be forced to. Okay, so that's the ferry companies. Now, what actually transpired was, there's a company called Motus, all right? There was a fella called Victor Tracy who used to basically block book all of the spaces on the ferries going out of Rosslare and out of Dublin, and you had to go through Victor Tracy to get a space on the boat. So he is basically what I would describe as a pimp, because that's what he was. He was basically block booking the ferries, and then he was giving them out to this company, that company, and that's how he made his money, and fair play to him, right? There's a company called Motus now doing the same thing, that they will book you on a ferry. So, when I said to the people, sternly, but I was not rude, I was stern with them, but I was not rude, and I said, I'm not sharing a cabin. And they said, well, you're not getting on the ferry. So they started threatening me that I'd be left on the dock if I didn't agree to share a cabin. So what happened then was, I just said, how dare you? I said, don't you dare tell me I have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. So what happened next was, she came out and she handed me the phone. And I'm thinking, what's this? So I held up the phone. Hello? What's the problem? And I said, sorry, who's this? Oh, this is Motus here in Dublin or wherever they were. You're causing problems in Rosslare or in Cherbourg. What's the problem? I said, there's no problem. I said, they said I'm sharing a cabin, and I just told them I'm not sharing a cabin. But you have to share a cabin, he says. And I said, excuse me? What do you mean I have to share a cabin? I don't have to do anything. Oh, well, you're not getting on the boat if you're not sharing a cabin. Now, this is exactly what he said to me. You are not getting on that boat unless you agree to share a cabin. That's how arrogant these companies are. That's how arrogant they are. And I said to him, but sure, I said, there's loads of foot passengers getting on this boat. I said, I'll go and I'll sleep in the motorist lounge. Oh, no, you can't do that. And I says, what do you mean I can't do that? I says, what do you mean I can't do that? I said, there's loads of foot passengers going to do that. Oh, that's none of your business what the foot passengers do. This is the arrogance of them. Now, I, again, was very careful that I wasn't cursing, because I don't want anyone ringing my boss. Now, by the way, I'm self-employed, okay? And I've been working for a company in the southwest of Ireland doing livestock for the last 5 or 6 months, right? And I'm still self-employed, okay? So I'll walk away from anything or anyone if I get nonsense or I get bullshit, okay? And that includes the company I'm with at the moment, who happen to be lovely. And I don't want to be bringing grief to their door. But I can tell you something. There's no one going to give me grief, and there's no one going to tell me I'm sharing a cabin on a ferry when I say I'm not. Now, I'll quite happily drag the quilt, drag the mattress and the whole pillow and the whole lot down the corridor like Rapunzel after me, and I will find somewhere to lie down. And I will sleep better in the motorist lounge or somewhere else in the ship than I will in a confined space that there's no air in the cabins anyway for a start. Even for one person there's no air in them. And you get in with some big sweaty sow or someone that's snoring or someone that comes in stumbling in at 12:30 at night time after drinking half a bottle of vodka, and you think I'm going to get some sleep? Now, my job is no different to anybody else's. Yes, it might be physically more demanding, but everyone has to do a day's work when they get off a ferry. Whether you're coming to Ireland or whether you're going to the continent, you have to do a day's work, and that can be 10 hours. So don't give me this, you have to share a cabin nonsense. I'm not doing it. Now, a friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention his name, maybe he wouldn't want me to mention him, so I won't mention him. But I see him, and we all know who he is. Well, anyone that's in and off ferries knows who he is. Sent me a link that someone had posted the video that I posted up on my Facebook page, and I posted up on my TikTok account. Both of them, by the way, are under Ned Kelly Ireland. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Ned Kelly Ireland. If you want to follow me on YouTube, it's Ned Kelly Ireland, or Facebook or whatever. But this video was posted by someone on an Irish Ferries appreciation page, or Irish Ferries fans or something, and it was up 2 or 3 days. And I'll show you here now behind me the response, and I'll actually, if I have my phone there, I'll actually read what the moderators of that website described me as, right? Now, this is more the same stuff. You're a freight driver, no one gives a damn about you, shut your mouth and get on with it, or else we'll bar you. And this is what they do. See what these ferries companies do, right? They try to bully drivers, and I've seen this for years. What they do is they threaten you with putting you off the boat, or what they'll do is they'll ring your company and say your driver's causing trouble. They're wasting their time ringing about me, because and you see, I would also recommend, without going into a complete meltdown of a rant, I'd also recommend that if you're having any problems with ferry companies or customs with guards or police or anything, no matter where you go, you have your phone. You stick it into your pocket and you press record. Now, you don't have to have the camera on, but you need to be able to record the audio, because I guarantee you that at one stage or another, either the police, either the customs, happened to me in Dublin, or a ferry, a cheeky purser on a ferry who thinks they're superior beings to you, by the way, will make a complaint against you, and it'll be packed with lies. I had 2 customs officers ran out of Dublin port because they told lies in an email that got me barred out of the port. Okay? Now, only for I had it on video, I was able to disprove the lies they told, and the 2 of them haven't been seen in Dublin port since. Actually, one of them was sacked. Now, I'll read this. This is Irish Ferries enthusiasts, okay? And a friend of mine sent me this. Now, I'll read it to you. A sincere apology on behalf of the moderating team for a post that should not have been approved earlier this evening. This was an unfortunate oversight. The foul-mouthed video rant by an angry truck driver. A foul-mouthed video rant by an angry truck driver is what they described me as, right? Aboard the Isle of Inisheer was not appropriate for this group. Before posting to Irish Ferries enthusiasts, please remember this is supposed to be a forum for those who actually like the ships. If you have a complaint about your experience of travelling with this company, it should be addressed directly to Irish Ferries as per rule number 4. Now, that's fair enough, okay? I didn't appreciate the foul-mouthed angry truck driver. But you see, this is what I'm saying. If you complain, you're a foul-mouthed angry truck driver. If you complain. No, if you put car passengers on a ship, people who are going on holidays, people who are going out to work, and you stuck 2 of them in a cabin, they wouldn't do it. So why do you expect the freight drivers to do it? When I went down to the reception and told them on the Isle of Inisheer on the 23rd of January this year that I said, I'm just letting you know in advance, and I had this big purser standing behind me as if I was going to do something. I'm very polite to staff. I never use foul language when I'm dealing with staff. I'm firm, but I am polite. And I just said, I'm just coming down to let you know that I will be taking the quilt and I'll be taking the pillow and I'll be dragging the mattress from that cabin down to somewhere else I can sleep. And the girl's like, okay, no problem. And then she said to me, will you do me a favour, please? And this was a purser. She said, will you please write a letter of complaint to Irish Ferries, right? Because I am sick and tired of having drivers coming to me complaining. Now, drivers don't complain. And I know an awful lot of drivers are thinking, sure, I don't care about sharing a cabin. And if you don't mind sharing a cabin, that's great. But I should not have to share one because Irish Ferries either put a ship on that's not big enough or they don't want to clean the cabins. And I'm not going to be doing it. And if I have to leave the present company I'm working with now over being made share cabins, I will walk away. It doesn't bother me. I'm 58 years of age. I'm hoping to get another 2 years out of it, and I'd like to stay doing the livestock until I finish. But if this nonsense starts again in March or starts in May again, I will walk away. I'll walk away. I've done it before and I'll do it again. Okay? Now, this is my personal opinion. If you like to share cabins or you don't mind sharing cabins, well then best of luck to you. I ain't doing it. Okay? Thanks for listening. Have a great day, my friends. Ciao for now.